Hello there, welcome to Conflict News 2042 complete situation report for you from the Middle East, where since the 7th of October we have been seeing intense fighting between Palestinian fighters and Israeli military. What happened in the last 24 hours? Details for you. Firstly, controversy goes on about who conducted the strike on a hospital in Palestine, in Gaza, which led to the death of hundreds of people there. Both sides accusing each other. Secondly, Joe Biden, US President, was in Israel today. What did he say? And Israel is getting unconditional support of US. US vetoed a resolution at UN Security Council today, but reportedly Netanyahu has agreed to allow delivery of aid to the people of Gaza after Biden's visit. Thirdly, an attack on a US military base in Iraq. Who is behind this attack? Fourthly, another attack by Israeli military on a mosque today. Dozens have been killed in Gaza. Then we have a new story about Lebanon Israel border. Israeli military making preparations. A field hospital established there. Today Hezbollah fighters fired guided missiles at military targets in Israel. Let's start with a new story about the tragic incident which happened yesterday. It happened on Tuesday when a hospital was hit in Gaza. Hundreds of people, civilians, women, children died in that incident. Both sides accused each other. Since yesterday, we have been seeing both sides accusing each other. Israel says it was a misfired rocket from Gaza fired by Palestine Islamic Jihad, which landed on the hospital in parking lot, which led to an explosion, killing the people there. Hamas, PIJ, others say that it was a strike from Israeli Air Force that led to the tragedy at the hospital in Gaza. So, controversy goes on. Experts from both sides are sharing their expert opinions. Meanwhile, Israeli military has published a conversation, recording of a phone conversation which happened allegedly between two Hamas operatives. The Hamas operatives can be heard saying that it was a rocket fired from Gaza which was intercepted in the air by interceptory missile fired from Israel, and then the rocket landed at the hospital, which led to the devastation there. I don't know if this released audio is genuine or fake. It is not difficult to make such doctored audios. It can be done even by an ordinary video editing expert too. Still, both sides maintain that they're accusing each other. But deaths happened. People died. Now, US President Joe Biden arrived in Israel a few hours ago. It was being said that he might postpone his visit. Yesterday, it was said that he might postpone the visit, but he pressed ahead. He arrived in Israel and he showed solidarity with Israel. He said, US is with you. And he requested Netanyahu to allow delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza from Egypt through Rafah border crossing. And after that, Netanyahu announced that the Israeli cabinet has approved the delivery of aid to the people of Gaza from Egypt, but it must be ensured that the aid does not end up in the hands of Hamas fighters. So we could see Rafah border crossing open. Israel has been conducting strikes on Rafah border crossing on Egyptian side of the crossing. So no aid has been allowed to enter Rafah border crossing into Gaza since the start of this war. US standing with Israel, and on a Thursday, other world leaders due to visit Israel. Macron, French president, due to arrive in Tel Aviv in Israel on a Thursday. I think Rishi Sunak, British Prime Minister, to follow as well. Yesterday, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz was in Israel. So, entire West and US are behind Israel. While Arab countries, they are split, but they are accusing Israel of atrocities, of human rights abuses. They are warning Israel, threatening Israel, but strikes continue. Israel making big preparation for a ground offensive. Today, we saw videos, pictures showing movement of Israeli military assets close to Gaza border. Thousands of paratroopers, reservists, military equipment like artillery pieces, etc., have been seen heading towards Gaza. They have not entered Gaza, but they are fully prepared. Meanwhile, US has vetoed a UN Security Council resolution on Wednesday. The resolution was backed by several UN Security Council members. It called for humanitarian ceasefire in the Middle East, but US opposed the resolution, saying that the resolution did not condemn Hamas's attacks. US is opposing a humanitarian ceasefire in this conflict. It is fully backing Israel. But we saw that at UN Human Rights Council session today, several member countries protested against the US. Representatives of different countries turned their backs on a US ambassador when she spoke there in protest against US support for Israel. Overall, US is behind Israel, and US wants Israel to continue the operation, but US does not want a large-scale escalation in this region. It does not want to involve itself directly. It does not want to be involved directly against Russia in this region. Meanwhile, and some drone strikes have been conducted on a US military base in the Middle East. US has several military bases in the Middle East, in Qatar, in Turkey, in Kuwait, in Iraq, in Syria. They have military bases, other parts too. And in Iraq, we have seen rockets fired, missiles fired at US military bases in the past. When Qasem Soleimani, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps commander, was assassinated by US in Iraq, Iran fired missiles close to US military bases in Iraq. In Al Ain, Iraq, which is there is a US military base there, some drones were fired, kamikaze drones, it seems, by a militia. The drones were intercepted by the air defense system deployed there, so no damage on the ground. An Iraqi militia has claimed responsibility for this attack. It happened this morning, and 2 kamikaze drones were fired a few hours ago. So if this war goes on and if it expands, we could see attacks on US interests in the Middle East. That is why US has mobilized its carrier strike group and Air Force assets, because US wants to send a message to other countries, other groups, that they should not join in. They should not think of carrying out attacks on US interests in the Middle East. Another strike on a civilian target in Gaza 3 to 4 hours ago. A mosque was hit, Nusreyet Mosque in Gaza. It is being reported that dozens of people died in this attack, a massacre. Yesterday, a hospital was hit, about which controversy goes on. Who hit the hospital? But today's strike was an airstrike. It was an airstrike, and mosque was completely destroyed. That wasn't the case when the hospital was hit. Hospital building is not fully destroyed. But the mosque which was hit today, it was a strike, it was leveled. And now it is being reported by locals that children, women, they died there. Because the people who are fleeing northern Gaza, they are taking refuge, taking shelter in mosques, etc. And some refugees were there, some IDPs were there who fled northern Gaza. They entered southern Gaza and they took shelter in this mosque, which was hit in a deadly airstrike today. Dozens killed reportedly there. This is not the first mosque hit by Israeli Air Force. Israeli military has hit several mosques, claiming that these mosques are being used by Hamas fighters. So this is the situation in Gaza, that airstrikes continue. Palestinian fighters are continuing rocket attacks too. Again, today rockets were fired towards central Israel, towards Tel Aviv. Too. Dozens of rockets were fired by Palestinian fighters from Gaza. Lastly, Lebanon Israel border. Before that, while Western countries, US are showing solidarity with Israel, visiting Israel, Arab world is split. Arab world trying to take a united stand, but so far splits are there. Turkey today criticized US for sending its carrier strike group in the region. And a meeting has been held between Iranian and Saudi foreign ministers. Iran and Saudi Arabia normalized relations after mediation by China. So they are on good terms these days, but still a joint stand against Israeli actions is missing. Middle Eastern countries are issuing statements. They are condemning Israeli attacks, Israeli alleged human rights abuses, but no joint stand taken by Arab world so far. Not a single country leader have visited Gaza so far. I was seeing entire West visiting Tel Aviv, visiting Israel. No one is allowed to visit Gaza. No one is allowed to visit West Bank. Now, lastly, Israel-Lebanon border tensions continuing there again on Tuesday and Wednesday. Rockets were fired, guided missiles were fired from Lebanese territory by Hezbollah fighters on Israeli military targets. A tank of Israeli military was hit, and Israeli military responded by conducting drone strikes. Death of one Hezbollah fighter has been confirmed today by Hezbollah. Meanwhile, Yoav Gallant, Israeli defense minister, spoke today. He said Hezbollah is 10 times stronger than Hamas. Hezbollah could open a big front on Israel's northern front, and a field hospital was established in border areas today, where 2-kilometer area is being vacated by people, as the border area has turned into a war zone. Almost on daily basis, we're seeing rockets, missiles fired from Lebanese territory on Israeli military targets. And Israel is conducting artillery strikes, airstrikes, and drone strikes on targets in Lebanon too. Hezbollah yesterday said that Wednesday would be a day of rage against Israelis, though we did not see this rage. Only a few missiles were fired. Protests ongoing. We saw big protests in Tehran, in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt. The protest started after Tuesday's attack on the hospital in Gaza. So this is the overall situation. So far, we can say that no big change on the ground. Israel still adamant to launch a ground invasion of Gaza. Arab countries issuing statements warning Israel against entering Gaza. Iran too, Hezbollah fighters as well. US is backing Israel. US is not withdrawing its support, though US managed to get some relief from Israel by convincing Israel to open Rafah border crossing. But US seems to be backing Israel in ground invasion of Gaza. If ground invasion starts, what will happen next? What will Arab world do? Will it involve to support Palestinian groups, or will it just continue issuing statements? That we'll see in coming days. Hezbollah is sending a clear message, I think, that if Gaza is invaded by Israel, if ground invasion is launched, we could see big escalation on Israel-Lebanon, Israel-Syria border. Thank you for watching.